Late one night, when the tension was at its peak, Sarah decided to end the uncertainty and bring all of Mark's secrets to light. She waited until he was asleep and began searching through his phone and documents for evidence. Her heart was pounding as she discovered letters, emails, and photos that confirmed her worst fears. There were women with whom Mark had intimate correspondence, financial transactions that testified to his secondary life. Sarah felt her world crumbling. She couldn't believe that the man she had loved and trusted for all these years was leading a double life. Anger and pain overwhelmed her, and she decided that she couldn't stand this betrayal any longer. She wanted Mark to understand that she knew everything, and for him to feel the same pain she was feeling. The next morning, as Mark was getting ready for work, Sarah stopped him at the door. "We need to talk," she said, her voice shaking. Mark looked at her, sensing that something was wrong. "What happened?" he asked, trying to remain calm. "I know about your betrayals, Mark," she said bluntly. "I found all the evidence. You led a double life behind my back. How could you do this to me and our children?" Mark went pale. He knew he couldn't hide any longer. "Sarah, I can explain everything," he began, but she cut him off. "No, Mark, no explanation will be enough. You betrayed me. You betrayed our family. I can't live with you anymore," she said firmly. Mark felt the ground slipping from under his feet. He knew he had lost everything that was dear to him. "Please, Sarah, give me a chance to make amends," he begged. But she was unmoved. "You've had your chances. Now you'll live with the consequences of your actions," she said as she walked away. After this conversation, Mark felt like his world was falling apart. He had lost not only his wife and children, but also his dignity and respect. Soon his infidelities became known at work, and his reputation was destroyed. He lost his job, his friends, and his support. Sarah, meanwhile, found the strength to move on. She received custody of the children and began to build a new life, free from lies and deceit. Her path was difficult, but she knew that for the sake of herself and her children, she had to move forward. After Sarah left, Mark was on the verge of despair. The loss of his family and job robbed him of a sense of control over his life. He needed something that would give him back a sense of power and revenge for the humiliation he had endured. Thus, a plan for revenge was born. Mark began to develop a plan for revenge that was carefully thought out and sophisticated. He knew that in order to do the most damage, he had to be stealthy and discreet. He decided to focus on destroying Sarah emotionally and financially, using her weaknesses against her. Mark's first step was to reconnect with people he knew who could help him with his plan. He reached out to old friends he still had connections with and began gathering information about Sarah. He wanted to know everything about her new life, her plans, her finances, and who was supporting her. Mark learned that Sarah had found a new job and was now living in a small house with her children. She was trying to rebuild her life, which only fueled his desire for revenge. He began by trying to undermine her professional reputation. He began spreading rumors and false accusations through front men to create tension at her workplace. The next step was a financial hit. Mark knew that Sarah was trying to raise money for her children's education and to improve their living conditions. He hired a hacker to hack into her bank accounts and steal a significant amount of money. It was a brutal blow that left her destitute. Sarah was devastated. She couldn't believe that after all the hardships she had gone through, she would now have to start all over again. She didn't know who was behind it, but she felt that it was no coincidence. Mark didn't stop there. He began to attack Sarah emotionally as well. He began sending her anonymous threatening messages and calling her at night, creating an atmosphere of fear and anxiety. He wanted her to feel helpless and vulnerable. The culmination of Mark's plan was to set a trap for Sarah that would expose her publicly. He set it up so that she would be accused of financial fraud at work, providing fake evidence and witnesses. As a result, she was fired and found herself on the verge of bankruptcy. Sarah was in shock as her life fell apart again. She felt like someone was targeting her, but she couldn't figure out who or why. Her emotional state was deteriorating, and she was starting to lose faith that she could rebuild her life. However, Mark's plan began to fall apart when one of his accomplices decided to tell Sarah the truth. He couldn't live with the guilt of his part in ruining her life. Sarah learned that all of her problems were orchestrated by Mark. This truth was another blow to her, but it also gave her the strength to fight. She went to the police and presented all the evidence against Mark. He was arrested and charged with numerous crimes, including cybercrime, fraud, and stalking. This story shows that revenge never brings satisfaction and only makes the pain and suffering worse. Mark, having lost everything, tried to ruin Sarah's life, but in the end, he only led himself to greater ruin. Sarah, despite all the trials, found the strength to continue fighting for her future and the future of her children. Thank you for watching our video. We hope this story will be a lesson for you on the importance of forgiveness and the need to seek truth and justice. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more stories. See you next time, ruining her life.